Social 20-2, continuing our theme of World War I sources. Here's source number 3. Pinecoat World War I Cemetery, Passchendaele, Belgium. So a photograph, and you'll get photographs on the diploma frequently for this particular assignment. So what you should make note of is the sheer scale of the tombstones. You can see how many there are, how far back they actually go as far as the eye can almost see. You can see the headstones, and they go across the page as well. So the photograph couldn't even capture all of the tombstones, and you'd have to imagine too there'd be tombstones going backwards from this point of view as well. So they're trying to show you the victims, the casualties of World War One. Basically, what they're trying to show you is the cost of World War One in human lives, the cost of ultranationalism in human life. Date, place, well, this is something that is present day in Belgium and Western Europe, so it's very contemporary, but you might say the events that it's referring to down here would be World War One and trench warfare. Participants, well, I think they're just showing you dead soldiers, um, dead members of the Triple Entente from World War One. And in terms of evidence, all you can really do with the photograph is point out what you see. And again, what we see are tombstones, as almost as far as the eye can see. In terms of a connection to nationalism, well, this, is the cost of ultranationalism, which is down here, but also it's the cost of expansionist policies, it's the cost of the alliance system, um, maybe even ethnocentrism. You thinking that your culture is better than another culture. Historical case study, of course, was World War One. Perspectives are tough with photographs. Um, all you can really do for perspective here is you know what was that photographer trying to capture? What would he be thinking as he took that picture? He's probably sad. He's probably full of sorrow for what people suffered during World War One. Looking back on history from our perspective, we could say that that war was probably not necessary. Not a whole lot was really gained out of the war. Um, and we could use it as an example of how ultranationalist policies are something to be avoided, something we shouldn't be um, pursuing as countries. And that's about all you can really do with that source. At this point now, we can go ahead and build our position for these sources. So step number one is you need to explain and defend uh, on what the role of nationalism should be in society. So what is your position? What evidence can you use to defend that position? So again, to take you through the sources, this was source number one, a propaganda poster for enlistment in Canada during World War One. Source number two was the cartoon of trench warfare in World War One. And then finally, just today's source was, of course, the photograph of the cemetery. So what you do now is you need to build a position, and then you've got to defend it with evidence. And you want to refer to all of this by what you've learned in social studies. So things that you'd probably want to refer to would be trench warfare itself, the notes called The Course of World War One, maybe the consequences, the cost of World War One in terms of human life and what happened because of that war. You would use those notes and those specific details to defend your position. You'd refer to specific things like how many people died in World War One, how many of them were civilians, how much money was spent to fight World War One, how did World War One end? Maybe you refer to the Treaty of Versailles, but you've got to pick a position and defend it with specific evidence from class. So you should do that. I would jot a few things down in your notebook or even just on your computer screen, because next year in grade 12 you'll have to do this as part of the diploma exam. So let's build that skill now.